Howdy y'all and welcome back. I am buying and trying all of the slings so that you don't have to. And today we're looking at the GBRS Group's second best sling. This one is in their moss gray, marine assault suit gray. So if you want the short version, imagine if a Vickers padded sling and an Edgar Sherman design sling got together and had a baby. It would be this right here. And those are big words, because to me, the Vickers padded is like the gold standard of all slings and has been for a long time. But my personal favorite has been the Edgar Sherman design sling. Except I really do like a padded sling, but sometimes they're kind of like too big. And this one is just like Goldilocks shit for me. So let's take it over to the table and get a closer look. So right out of the gate, let's talk about moss gray and how it compares to, this is Haley disruptive gray, blue alpha gear, I forget what they call their gray. Basically these are closer to a wolf gray, the belt being slightly darker than the Haley, and I've got some grass on my, okay, so, and obviously this moss gray is a different shade of gray. It has what appears to my eye to look like some green, like just a hint of green in it, if that makes sense. It's difficult, like I say, to get the camera to represent it exactly the way my eye sees it. And if I shift my lighting a little bit and add a little yellow into my light, you can see that sort of changes. I don't know how much that's changing on camera, but to my eye, it looks a whole lot different. So your mileage may vary, but the point here is that this is not wolf gray. It is marine assault suit gray. And GBRS has a whole video explaining the history of that. If you want to do a YouTube search on it, knock yourself out. But not wolf gray. Similar-ish, but not wolf gray. All right, so now let's talk about the adjustment slider. So this is the Loud sling. This is the Edgar Sherman design sling, and here we've got the GBRS. And if you look closely, you will notice that the adjustment slider on all three of these is basically kind of pretty much, in fact, I think those are the exact same sliders. And this one is very similar. You've got, it's kind of like a big tri-glide kind of thing, but they are all being used very differently. And I just thought this was interesting. This one is sort of the most captive utilization of that slider. So you've got, instead of using the end tab the way Edgar Sherman does on this guy, or the way that Louder uses it on the Loud sling, here we've got the adjustment tab sewn into the middle, and then the little tabby guy captive inside right there. But there is your adjustment. It is super slick, and I really like it. Now I love having these plastic pull tabs like on a Faro Concepts or the Edgar Sherman, and thought maybe I would be doing that on here, and I will not be. But I can live with a tab style, just like going all the way back to the Vickers sling of old, in days of yore. I'm totally fine with that. And if you want, they set this up so that you can cut this stitching right here in the middle and make one big loop and use it as a loop style. So you can like hook your thumb in and run it that way. I will probably just use it as a pull tab, and they've got it doubled over and kind of chunky on the end here. So it's a good, you know, in the dark, you should be able to feel around and recognize that with your hand and use it as you need to. All right, and this to me is the very coolest thing that GBRS has done with their sling design, is shortened the padded section. I am not a great big guy. I say it all the time on the channel. I'm 5'11". Last time I weighed myself, I was 171, so I'm kind of welterweight. That makes me thin of shoulders, and padded segments on slings are always way too long for me. Now, if you're a great big old Sasquatch, you may prefer that longer padded section. But for me and for a lot of medium to smaller sized people, this is awesome. because it gives you a whole lot more adjustment and less padding. And you can see, as an example, this is where I have the stock end set, so I will be cutting all of this off. But I remembered not to do that before making the video this time, so that you can get an idea. That is how much they're giving you if you are a great big old Sasquatch. You've got plenty of room to work with there, but in my case, I cinch it all in, loop it back through the tri-glide. I'll give myself about a 1-inch, maybe 2-inch tail in case I do grow or want to gift it to someone else or something. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm pretty much in love with this sling. So let me back this guy out and we'll try to get a shot of the entire adjustability there. All right, so I've got the camera backed way off, and here we've got the Edgar Sherman design sling. I've got it all the way in, and you can see just by looking at the two that the GBRS is going to have quite a bit more adjustability, and I'll try to demonstrate that and still keep this all in frame, but there we are all the way out. Okay, I'm barely out of frame there, but you get the idea, right? And then I'm bringing it in like so. And with the GBRS, it's way, way more. I forget exactly, they list it on the website. It's some crazy amount of inches, but I'm way off screen now. So if you are a girthier individual, or you like running like offside drills, weak-sided drills or whatever, and you want a lot of adjustability, this thing is killing it. All right, and the last thing we'll talk about here is the padding. This is difficult to translate on camera, but it is thinner. It's thinner than a Vickers. It's thinner than a VTAC. Again, hard to explain. I don't know what kind of foam. It feels very, very sturdy. It's like a very dense, but a thinner segment of foam. And it's about as wide. It's a little narrower than some of the other padded options out there. Kind of more like the Haley padded sling. It's narrower this way, thinner this way, and yet it feels like it's a really, really durable foam, and it does give a surprising amount of padding. They've gone to great lengths to keep the stitching well tucked in there, so it's not gonna, they don't have like a sewn edge that'll dig into your neck or whatever, and then it's stitched all the way down the center so that it's not gonna get floppy and weird on you. And this material, very similar to the Edgar Sherman design sling in weight. Again, that's one of these really difficult. I'm not like a nylon nerd or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how you like delineate different types, but it's a very similar width and thickness to the Edgar Sherman design sling, which I am a big fan of, as opposed to like a Vickers sling that has that much thicker, kind of old school weave. All right, and so that's it. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and everyone who kicks down through my Buy Me a Coffee drawings. Y'all are the reason I am able to keep doing this, so thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you could hear rain dropping in the background and stuff, I apologize. It's the middle of August in not a rainstorm, but it's raining. It is both sweltering hot and wet. It's super disgusting. That's why I'm all shiny. But I was really excited about this guy and wanted to get it out to you today. So here we are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, be easy, y'all.